I have a message for you rainbow-colored hair, nose-ring-wearing thugs that have taken over the streets of Portland, Oregon. Your days are numbered like the fourth book in the Bible, like a calculator. You mask-wearing, never-showering hoodlums. You're about to get the smoke. So apparently not all of our judges have lost their minds. That's a positive development to see. Read that headline to me and read it good. Trump can send troops to Portland, appeals court says. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals said that it would allow President Trump to deploy the National Guard to Portland, blocking a judge's ruling that forbade his administration from sending troops into the city. The decision from a panel with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit authorizes for now Trump's efforts to place the military in Oregon's largest city, one of several places where he has sent troops or vowed to do so, including Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and Chicago. After Oregon officials sued to challenge the Portland deployment, U.S. District Judge Karine Immergut. Okay. No wonder you made a stupid ruling. Look at your name! Immergut. Oh, that just sounds wrong in so many ways. Trump, man, why would you appoint somebody named Immergut? The name was telling us something. Alright, it was his first term. We'll forgive him. She blocked him from sending the National Guard into Portland. The Trump administration pivoted to send California National Guard members into Portland. Immergut then issued a second order blocking the administration from sending troops into Oregon. She echoed Oregon officials' conclusions, saying while there were violent protests at the ICE facility in June, by the time of Trump's attempted deployment, the demonstrations were generally peaceful in nature with only sporadic incidents of violence and disruptive behavior. Yeah. So you're saying we need more danger to... That's so illogical. If there's still violence and disruptive behavior, the president has absolute authority to deploy the National Guard. It doesn't matter if it's sporadic, as long as there's an existence of such. We need to have a conversation in this country about judicial power. We have a separation of powers for a reason. If the president needs permission from the judiciary to deploy National Guardsmen to execute the laws, his job as stated in the Constitution, then what are his powers? If he needs to beg judges to allow him to fire bureaucrats that work under him, then who is he the leader of? I do, of course, appreciate this ruling from the Ninth Circuit panel, but they shouldn't have had to make it because the lower courts should not be constantly putting roadblocks in the president's way. I think the Trump administration needs to file some sort of petition to the Supreme Court asking clarification to enjoin district courts all over the country from preventing the president from deploying the National Guard to execute the laws. People forget, but the president is the commander-in-chief, but also the nation's top law enforcement officer. His job is to enforce the laws that Congress passes, that have been interpreted by the judiciary as constitutional. Each president's method of doing so can differ, but as long as they use the authorities within their general and broad powers to do their jobs and carry out their responsibilities, I have no problem with it. The Constitution-loving part of me enjoys and appreciates these constant legal squabbles, but it's actually generally bad for the country. The three branches of government are separate but equal. Jim Crow, baby. I've never seen the president of the United States, any president, to be honest with you, even the Democrats, interfere with judges and the judiciary when they make decisions, when they overturn their own rulings from decades ago. Most presidents accept the rulings of the courts and enforce those rulings even when they disagree. But we're constantly having to file motions to courts begging them to allow the president to carry out his duties. It is mandatory in the Constitution, not suggestive, that the president goes to great lengths to execute, to enforce the nation's laws with all the power available to him. These judges have a superiority complex. That's my only conclusion. Because for whatever reason, they think because they wear robes and went to law school, and they're like, they should be revered as saints of the Constitution, when they are erroneous constantly. But anyways, let's celebrate this victory. Hey, the Trump administration is sending 200 National Guardsmen to Portland. How about 2,000 now that the court has given that green light? We know there's no further appellate path for the city officials in Portland and the state officials in Oregon, because the Supreme Court will side with the administration as they have in a lot of critical cases. I'm actually very proud and surprised by the Supreme Court. You know what I think, though? I think we need a law from Congress, because Congress has the ability to regulate the courts, saying that if a judge has been appealed X amount of times, that judge is automatically kicked out of office or prevented from ruling in similar cases in the future. I meant to say overturned on appeal, meaning consequences for the judges that keep screwing up these cases. You'll watch how quickly these judges just get in line. Thank you all very much for watching. God bless and goodbye.